Hi, I'm Hannah. I bake a lot and I'm going to show you a really quick, easy method to make a chocolate cake which will pretty much make everyone love you. You're going to need a pair of scales, set scales, a glass bowl or a ceramic bowl, either's fine, a electric whisk, a pair of cake tins and later on a saucepan. So you're going to need some self-raising flour, but you can use plain flour and just add some baking powder, that's fine. You need some form of sugar, white castor, white granulated, golden castor, golden granulated, they're all fine. Eggs, 2 eggs. You need some milk, some cocoa, marge, whatever's on offer is fine. Some of the basic stuff doesn't taste great, but the cake will cover that up anyway, but that stuff does taste a bit better. You can use butter if you're feeling well off, up to you. What have I missed? Dark chocolate and white chocolate we'll be using later as well, and some icing sugar as well for the icing. And I always add a little bit of coffee to chocolate cakes because you can't taste the coffee, but it does make it better. Put your oven to 170. It varies a bit depending on your oven. If it's a fan oven, 170 is fine. If you've got a normal oven, you might want to go up to 180 and you'll have to give it a bit more time, but I'll show you how to test for that later. Okay, I can get a cake in the oven in about 4 minutes sometimes, so I won't do it quite that fast today, but to give you an idea, you can do it that fast. It might take some practice, but it is really quick. 5 ounces of self-raising flour. You don't have to be really exact, reasonably helps. And we're going to add in 1 ounce of cocoa. And you put the flour in the bottom mostly so it doesn't fly in your face when you mix it later. Right. Then I go for the sugar. Six ounces of sugar as well. Basically, a sponge cake is equal quantities of all ingredients. Because we're doing the all-in-one method, add a teaspoon of baking powder. I always forget this and add it in last. It makes no difference. Okay. Then we want 6 ounces of butter or marge. There we go. 6.2. And then we want 2 eggs. Traditionally, you'd always do 3 eggs because eggs are about 2 ounces each, but because I am cheap and bake a lot and don't have that much money, I tend to just use 2 eggs, and then I've kept it measuring, so that's 4 ounces, just short of. So I just add enough to make it up to 6 ounces of milk. Up to 6 ounces with the milk. There we go. That is your cake, basically. And then what we do, you plug in the whisk, and this will change colour, basically. So mostly mixed, that's just all together, but you'll see that as you mix it for another minute or 2, it'll get paler, and that's how you know it's done. There you go. You can see that's paler and a more smooth texture than it was before. That's your cake, basically. Just gonna get in the bits from the sides, mix it up. There you go. Get rid of any flour that's lurking at the bottom and just make sure it's all nicely mixed in together. There you go. Technically you should have all ingredients at room temperature, but it's not really, doesn't matter that much for this cake if they're not. Then we just want to grease these. I find the easiest way, obviously with clean hands, just get some butter and do that. You want to do the sides and the bottom, so then your cake will not stick, otherwise it's a pain. Okay, so just throw it out so you know the greaseproof paper is as wide as that. Cut across. Again, these don't have to be that exact. And then what I usually do, let's do that this way. And we push those in. And just push them up against the side. One thing I do with chocolate cakes is add a bit of coffee and some melted dark chocolate, because melted dark chocolate makes the world a better place. So just take, say, 40 grams of dark chocolate, stick it in the microwave for, say, 30 seconds. Or let's go for a bit more. Go for, it's probably about 50, 60 grams. That's what it looks like after a minute. Yeah, it's starting to go. Remember, in a microwave, things carry on heating up after they come out, so you don't want to overcook them. But we'll do another 30 seconds at least, guys. It's definitely starting to mush. Should stir it in between, then you can see exactly how far it's got. So we're getting there. These will carry on melting as you stir them. Once it gets to this stage, you're 10, 20, 30 seconds off, so you don't want to put it in for any longer than that. And if you ever put, even from the start, you should check it every 30 seconds. Quick stir, and those last lumps will dissolve in. So while that's just finishing off melting, we're gonna make ourselves a little bit of coffee. Go for maybe half a teaspoon in there. And then we're just going to add a little bit of quite hot water. So just, that's quite a lot of water. Don't need that much water, but that's fine. Really important thing here, do not add water to chocolate. Chocolate doesn't like water. If you add water, chocolate seizes, and although it will still taste good, you can't do anything with it and you just need to sit and eat it, which, is a tragedy. Okay, so what we're going to do now is do a little stirring. So we're going to add this in here. I won't add all of it because it'll add quite a lot of moisture otherwise. We'll just stir that through. And this is so we want to fold it in. So basically what you're doing is you're trying not to lose the air that you've beaten into the cake. And then we add the chocolate, which is the good bit.
If you need someone to clean that bowl.
Yeah, cleaning out this bowl is never going to be a struggle. If you leave some in for whoever's around in your house, it's another good way of making people love you. There you go, Kat.
Thank you. Whoa, that's loads.
I was feeling generous.
Happy days.
So then we just fold this through, and it just is gonna make the cake more squishy and chocolatey goodness. And if your ingredients were cold, some of the chocolate will lump up and you'll end up with chocolate chip cake, which is not a bad thing either. Okay, so now we're just gonna dump these in here and into the oven they go. And we will give them 20 minutes. Well, 25. So the cakes are now hopefully done. We have a knife with which to test them. So, you go, little ones. So now we're just going to stab the cake. It should also spring back when you poke it. There we go, I think you're done. So these guys can come out on the top. The important thing at this point is that when a sponge cake comes out the oven, it will, if you try to take it out of the tin now, it will just fall apart. If, like me, you ever drop a sponge cake just out the oven, it will just explode in crumbs across the floor, leaving you to sit and look at it for a while. So you want to leave them 5 to 10 minutes just to become more happily structured. More solid, less likely to fall apart. You just need to run a knife around the edge of the cake. Make sure you go all the way around. And then you go 1, 2, 3. Oh, there you go. Then hopefully this lifts off. And this peels. Hello, little cake. You can see how soft it is. It'll come off where it was a little bit stuck. It'll just kind of fall apart. So there we go, 2 little cakes. At this point you need to leave them to cool. Depending on the warmth of your house, it'll take probably an hour-ish. The important thing is you can't ice these until they're cool, because butter icing, when you make it, if you put it on the cake now, it will just melt off and make a very lovely, tasty mess, but it will be a mess, so leave them to cool. My process of making icing is usually estimation. So I'll tell you what I'm using and we'll see if it works out. I use, for chocolate icing, it's just some marge, say, let's go for 50 grams. There we go, that'll do. And then I'm going to add the important ingredient, which is chocolate. Say 30 grams of chocolate. And then we're going to put that in the microwave for a minute. Check it after 30 seconds. You can see butter's all melted and chocolate is nearly there. Just going to give that a stir. Right, another 20 seconds. There we go. That's nice and smooth. No bit of chocolate left. Okay. I'm going to add icing sugar. I'm just gonna add that much. We'll stir that together. So what I'm now going to do, this is my little cheat, is add a bit of water. Just cold tap water, just a tablespoonful really. It starts to look lumpy and strange. That's okay. You see that that's starting to look like really nice, smooth buttercream. So yeah, I like quite a loose butter icing for my normal cakes. If you want it a bit thicker, add some more icing sugar, taste it. If you think it needs a bit more butter, add some butter, stir it in just until it tastes like you want it to. And we just and with a knife, you just push it to the edges. And we do that. we go. So that's how you make a chocolate cake, which will earn you some friends, I am sure. I'm now going to put some truffles on top that I've made. If you want to know how to make the truffles, then there is a link to the video below. Truffles. It's just not too bad. In the middle. So if you have any requests, any further requests of how to make things cheaply and easily, then let me know. There'll be a link in the description to the recipe, and please like this video if it was helpful and like the Facebook page.